Since our character is a talk show host, we need to build a talk show set for him. And as you see here, we have a whole bunch of layers that we need to handle before we get going with that. Because we can keep adding layers, but after a while, we're going to be able to work with just this much area. And it's not enough to do our animation. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a folder for it. By clicking this icon, I'll move this down, double click on it, and call it character. Now, I'm going to click on eyeballs. I'm going to hold the shift key down on my keyboard and then select the last layer of the character and click and hold the mouse down and drag it into the character folder like this. Now, I can collapse this and all of those layers for that character are ready to go in this folder. Gives us a lot more room to work with. I can move this up now and we can bring our backdrop in. So now let's click and create a new layer, and as you see here, it's going to go in this folder. So what I'm going to do is grab this layer 8, resize this a little bit, and drag it to the very top of the set of folders here like this. So all I did was click on it and drag it to the top of the folder, and now it's outside of that folder. And now I'll call this backdrop. And I'm going to click on this, and we're going to bring in the background art for this. So let's go to File, Import to Stage. And now let's go to our Resource Files folder and go to the Background Art folder and select background.png. And here is our background. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. And to resize this properly, I want to go to my View menu, choose Rulers, and I'm going to draw some guides out so I can kind of match the size of the stage. And just in case you forget what size stage you currently have, all you have to do is click anywhere on the stage and look down here. It tells you the size in pixels of your actual document. Now we can grab our backdrop and put it into position like so. I'll resize it just a little bit. And now you see the importance of these guides because you can now see that you are still within the region of the movie. And I'm going to lock that because we're not going to move the backdrop. Now what I want to do is bring in some artwork for our set. Let's start off with the plant. I already have a shadow here, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And we're going to bring in a plant. So I'm going to go ahead and hide my rulers. And we're going to import the plant artwork. So go to File, Import. Now we're going to import to the library, or we can import to stage. It doesn't really matter. What you need to do, of course, is have a new layer. And if you have a new layer, then you can import to stage. We're going to name this plant. Make sure we're on that layer. File, Import. Now we have Import to Stage back. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our clip folder. And you're going to choose this Ishapis. I hope that's how you say it. And we're going to import this piece of artwork. As you see here, we need to break this image apart to get the plant out of the background. So we're going to move this over. We're going to go to Modify, Break Apart. And I'm doing this way because I want to show you how you can get rid of background images or background colors. What I could have done is prepare this file for you with a transparent background very easily in Photoshop, but sometimes you have to go the long way so you can really learn the program. Now to do this, we're going to click on our lasso tool. And this opens up some options here. This is the magic wand properties. We're going to click on this one time and look at the threshold. This number will determine the like colored pixels that the magic wand tool will select when you click on something. In other words, if I have this number set to 100 and I click on this plant, the magic wand will probably select the black, the blue, the brown, or whatever is close to black. So the dark colors will all get selected. But if I have it at a low number like 10, it's only going to select a few pixels that are close to each other. For example, black and maybe a dark gray. So let's go ahead and click OK. And now we're going to grab our magic wand here. And we're going to click like this. And see what happens? It clicks the black area. And if I press delete, look at that. It's not very neat. You can do a much better job in Photoshop. But I just wanted to show you this technique because it can come in handy sometimes when you're in Flash and you just want to get something on the screen so you can work with it. You can always clean it up a little later. So I'm just clicking in the black areas, and I can hold down the shift key and grab more than one area at one time, but it's a lot faster for me just to go and grab one and have my hand on the delete key on the keyboard. So that's good enough for now. Now we grab our magic wand tool and manually drag around these lines here and press delete to get rid of them. I'm going to group this plant now. I'm going to just draw with the selection tool around the plant and press Command or Control G. Let's go ahead and resize it a little bit to match the shadow and move it into position. Now how cool is that? We have this plant that's giving us our shadow that we painted in Photoshop a little while ago. Don't worry if it's hanging off the edge, that's fine. Now let's go ahead and draw the character's desk. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our rectangle tool and we're going to just give it a solid color like a green. We're going to put some gradients in here a little later on. So I'm going to grab a green, going to click and drag out the beginning of his desk. I don't really want a stroke, so I'm going to double click on this white line here if you have a stroke and press delete to get rid of it. Let's fill this in with a gradient by clicking on it once, going to our swatches here. As you see, we have some gradients, and we're going to click on this green one right here. You can always change the color of a gradient by clicking on one of these color stops here and then moving the color bar down like so. Look at that. So we have our radial gradient. We can also go for a linear gradient if we want to, like so. See that? To change the gradient, see this? The gradient's going left to right. To change the gradient, click on the paint bucket, click and drag like this. And now you can change the direction of the gradient. Since we're going to add a little bit of a top or a lip to this desk, going like this is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and continue this right now.